Happy Tuesday. Let's make an extra student loan payment. I am feeling a little stressed this week, but that's okay. Let's see how much we're gonna make. I think I'm just gonna do the $77.45 that I do across all the loans, which covers the daily interest accrual rate times 2. All right, just made my payment. And right now my current balance is $185,741.58. And then I have a $232.35 payment that's processing from yesterday. And then my $77.45 that's pending from today. Have a great Tuesday.
All right, Colleen, so you're paying off a loan that you took. What was the purpose of this video? Are you trying to get some sympathy because you have a long ways to go on paying that loan off? You know, student loans are optional. Just because you got a degree that didn't result in a high-paying job does not make it other people's problems. I'm pretty sure that this video was intended to get people to start thinking, yeah, you know, loan forgiveness should be a humane thing. Yeah, we should approve our taxes to pay off my loans. Tell you what, Queen, let's put this in a hierarchy. I'll agree that tax dollars should pay off your loan if there's any money left over after first paying off the mortgage loans of war veterans. After that, retired first responders that put in 20 plus years on the job. Men who ended up with a crushing disability because they risked their health to help someone else. Then after that, we use tax dollars to get the homeless off the street. Then after that, we use the tax dollars to treat the mental health for all those men who are thinking about self-deletion. And if there's anything left over, yeah, we'll throw a few nickels to your debt. How about that? Does that sound fair? Before we move on, I want to bring attention that 70% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. Come on, fam. You've seen my logo on other channels, and you're already here. Please hit that subscribe button and support the channel. It really helps out. Moving on.
The hardest job I've literally ever had is being a girl. I'm not kidding, because first of all, I don't know what the different phases mean or what they entail or how they affect my mood, but all I know is sometimes I feel like I am the rope in the worst tug of war game anyone's ever played. It's like back, forth. I'm like, and I can't control it. And sometimes it's literally within 1 minute, within 60 seconds. I'm happy, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm lonely. It's like a roller coaster. And I do feel like I'm someone who's really in tune with it and really tries to regulate and like stay on top of my emotions and not be psycho and crash out. But at the end of the day, like sometimes it's like a feeling, like it's not even logical and you can't even try to make sense out of it because you can't control it. Feel anger inside of you, you can't control it. You feel this great excitement, you're all like laughy, silly, like haha, you can't control it. It's like the hardest thing to go through. I'm not kidding. And it's funny because guys say that all girls are, and honestly, like for my definition of it's true because I can't control it. I'm a girl. Like it's not my fault. Like I'm not in the way that I like approach guys or talk about guys or all that because I just don't participate in hookup culture. I just can't control my emotions and that makes me crazy. But the hardest part is being aware that it's insane and it's so frustrating because you're like, I'm not mad about anything. Like I'm fine. Even when I'm happy, I'm like, okay, like nothing is that exciting right now. Why am I like bouncing off the walls? But I just can't control it. And yeah, I just need to say my piece on this. If you're a girl, you get it. Love you guys. Fall for more. Mwah.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Let me get this straight. This young Colleen says that being a girl, being a woman, being a female is the hardest thing that she's ever done by far because she has to deal with a lot of emotional swings. She can't control her emotions. That sounds like a you problem. And of course, it's not her fault. So what is it, Queen? Your emotions are someone else's fault? Oh, that's right. Accountability. Kryptonite. Sorry about that. Anyway, how exactly does this all equate to being the hardest thing ever? I mean, if this is the hardest thing you could come up with, it is no wonder that men will say women live on easy mode. I'm sorry, but not one thing that you mentioned there is actually a real world problem. Let's face the reality that women can get bailed out by men. Men don't get bailed out by women. That's a huge advantage that women have off the top. If you're attractive enough, if you're cute enough, there is a guy who's going to come in and sweep you off your feet and bail you out and fund your way through life. Number two, there are a bunch of programs out there geared towards women. Men don't have these safety nets. A lot of these advantages that women have, men don't have them starting off, especially if you're a guy who's not genetically gifted. You know, you're not super attractive, you're under 6 feet tall, you don't have a chiseled jaw, or you weren't blessed with a high IQ. That means that you're going through life on extreme difficulty setting. And as you get older and you master life, it goes down to only hard setting. Women start life on easy mode. I'm sorry, ladies, but none of you actually experience medium difficulty until you're a decade past post-wall. Then maybe you could say it's a little bit harder, but as a lot of you say, I'm invisible now. OMG, men don't pay attention to me anymore. It's the hardest thing ever. The pretty little princess in this video just proves the saying that those who have lived with privilege the majority of their lives don't recognize it until they're hit with equality. Then it feels like oppression. Tell you what, sister, why don't you try being an average guy, average at everything, 18 years old, you don't have much to your name, and you decide, hey, you know what? I want to be with this attractive girl. And then you have to do the approaching. And you approach 100 women and you get rejected 100 times. Then you could talk to me about, OMG, this is the hardest thing. Because it's no longer your internal emotions that you have to control. No, this is called real-world rejection. Because a lot of times, women won't just say no. Women will actually follow it up with a, ew, get away from me. Or some kind of mean comment. And men just have to learn to deal with it. So suck it up, buttercup. Add another one of your tears to the bucket. Moving on.
Being a woman is literally so tiring. The things that happen, like, regularly every day, like, normally don't bother me, but every once in a while, I'm like, this is exhausting. Like, something happened today. Something that happens regularly, almost everyday occurrence, doesn't normally bother me. But I feel like as a woman, we all like have those days where it's just like, come on. I was walking into Dunkin' and I had my old coffee, like it was empty from the day before, and I was going to throw it out. And this guy's walking out of the Dunkin' and he's like, going to get more coffee? And I'm like, haha, yeah. And I keep walking and he keeps talking to me, but it's like some stuff that I wouldn't need to respond to. I'm like laughing. I'm like, yeah, have a nice day. And I go to walk into the Dunkin'. And he calls for me a couple more times. He's like, hello? Hello, miss? Starts screaming in the parking lot until I have to stop and turn around. To which he goes, can I get your number? And I said, no, I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Go to turn around. He goes, why? Why not? And I'm like, sorry, have a nice day. And I go to turn around again. He goes, tell me why. Tell me why I can get your number. You're beautiful. And I was like, thank you. And I turn to walk away again. He goes, why? Tell me why. Like, he keeps going. Finally, the only thing that semi-works is me saying I have a boyfriend. Obviously, because my no in itself isn't enough. But me being somebody else's is what did it. He then stays standing there in the parking lot next to his car. And I go into the Dunkin', get my coffee. And my instinct was to check if he was still there before going outside, and he was. He was just standing there next to his car, doing nothing. Not on his phone, not waiting for anything. He was just waiting for me to come back out. And I just stood there in the entryway behind the wall for a while, waiting for him to give up and go in his car. And as I was standing there, I was just like, this sucks. It's like shit like this happens in different fonts every day. And like every once in a while, I'm just like, this is 3 minutes of my life that I'm waiting behind a wall that I would have for myself.
Game over, man. It's game over.
OMG, that is so difficult. Let me get this straight. In your opinion, being a woman is super hard because when you were walking to Dunkin', a guy talked to you, you were polite, and he kept talking to you, and that bothered you. Because for some odd reason, after you were annoyed, after the first couple times, you couldn't just ignore him and keep walking? You know, Colleen, after the first couple interactions, you didn't have to say another thing to him. See, the problem there isn't him being annoying. The problem is that you were engaging with him. You were definitely responding the way that he wanted you to respond. He wanted to keep you engaged in his conversation, and you catch yourself in that conversation. That was your personal choice. That wasn't a difficult situation. That's okay, bye, keep walking. And every time he calls back, miss, just ignore him. Keep walking. Go inside. Get your coffee. If you turn around, he's out there. Oh, well, whatever. You walk out. If he comes back out, you pull out your phone, you start recording the guy, and you say, hey, I'm about to call the cops. Get away from me, please. And if he insists, then you follow through. Guess what? This isn't super difficult. And let me tell you something else. Men would have to deal with something far worse. A guy like that stalking a guy, far more dangerous. I know you women say, oh, I'm afraid of men because men act all creepy. Look at the statistics. Men are far more likely to be victims of violence than women are. So when women say, oh, men can walk in the middle of the night without any fear, that's Delulu talk right there. That is you in your own personal bubble believing that you're the constant victim and everybody else has the superpower of not having to have your emotions and not having to do what you decide to do, as in, well, let me keep engaging with him. Oh, it's so tough that I have to respond to him. You don't have to. Let's put it this way. This girl is going through the jungle and a chimpanzee pulls up on me and he goes, hey, bro, how you doing? Hey, just fine. He keeps calling. I don't want to talk to him. I just keep on going. It's not that hard. I'm not saying that the guy was was right for keep interacting with you. I'm saying that you were wrong for giving him what he wanted. But let's hear what else she has to say about this one.
But instead, I'm hiding behind a wall in a Dunkin'. And that's exhausting all the time. To do like that all the time to protect myself from men is exhausting. And it's like, you could sit here and say that I'm overreacting. If I went outside, he wouldn't have done anything. But you don't know that. I don't know that. And like yesterday, literally yesterday, why I'm probably on fucking edge. Yesterday, I'm in a normal suburban town in Long Island, near my job, doing Uber Eats to make extra money. I walk out of the restaurant that I just picked up food at, and this guy's walking, and he turns his head around because I guess he hears the door close, and he sees me. And then he stops in his tracks. He stops walking. He doesn't say anything to me. He just stops walking. And then I keep walking forward, and I notice that once I pass him, he starts walking again, and he's walking behind me. And I don't think much of it, but I'm always on edge when it comes to men, especially because I noticed him halt after looking at me. So, I crossed the street. I didn't cross at a crosswalk. I didn't cross at a place that you're supposed to cross the street. So I crossed, and I noticed he also crossed the street. So then I'm still like a little bit worried. And I crossed back. I crossed back to the other side of the street. So now I've gone from this side of the street to this side of the street, back to this side of the street. And he then follows me back. So at this point, I know that I'm being followed because that pattern was, and the only reason that he would also do that is if he's following me. So I start walking faster, and he starts walking faster. And then I look back at him, and he's looking at me, and I get scared, and I start like speed walking, like going pretty fast, and he starts speed walking. So then I get really scared, and I start running, and then he starts running. So now I'm being fully chased down the street. Get in my car, lock the door, and he comes up to my window and knocks on it. I have no clue what would have happened from there because I drove away. I think it might have just been a fun game for him. He said nothing to me. Like, in the whole time that he was chasing me, he didn't even say hi. He said nothing. I think it was just a fun power trip for him. And I don't know what would have happened, but that was fun and scary. I think I just needed to vent. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone's having a good weekend.
All right, sister, let me say this. This girl is not going to say that you were overreacting because you didn't know what the guy was going to do. Fair point. I agree with you. But you are overreacting when you believe that you are the only one who has to watch out for your own safety. See, that's the problem here. This victim mentality of, oh, I'm tired that I have to protect myself against men all the time. And what do you think? Everybody else who's not you or anyone else who's not a young woman in this country walks around thinking, oh, I am so free to walk around without having to watch my surroundings, without having to be aware of possible dangers in my immediate general area. No, that's not real life. That's not how it works. Even the biggest, strongest man can get hit with a car, can get shot, can get stabbed. Here's something that you may not know, princess, but men are constantly walking around watching their six. Why? Because men are always on high alert. Because they're conscious that even though they're bigger and stronger than you are, that does not guarantee their safety. Also, that story about the guy who chased you down, hey, look, I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. But that's not unique to women. In fact, think about it. Nothing happened to you. If that would happen to most men, the guy would probably come up with a weapon to rob him or hurt him. And this girl is glad that you came out unharmed. Yeah, he was a total weirdo. I completely agree with you. But this does not happen only to you. It happens to a multitude of different people, men included. The one thing that I'm noticing so far is that in none of your stories have you been physically harmed. Yes, it's a weird action. Yes, it should not have happened. But I have not heard you go through any kind of physical harm. There are many individuals out there who are not that lucky. And if the case is there are just a bunch of guys who don't know how to talk to women properly and come off creepy, trust me, sister, interactions in the wild, when it comes to bad interactions, those are probably the golden ones. And she did it right. Yes, you drove off. And ladies, this girl is going to say it. Stay safe out there. I'm not saying anything against that. What I'm trying to tell you is, guess what? Men have to keep their guards up just as much as women, if not more often. You're not the unique victims you think you are. Just because you're born a man does not make you immune to violence. Stay safe out there.
Damn, skip me.
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click on the video in the end screen for more content. If you would like to support the channel, please follow the link in the description to donate to our beer fund. Or like, subscribe, and share this video on other social media platforms. If you agree or disagree with anything about this audit, please let us know in the comments. I'm going to leave this audit right here. I'll see all of you in the next episode.